Hello everyone, welcome to Olive's Academy. So in this video, we are going to see about under or over absorption of overheads. So basically, why under or over absorption occurs. So if you look at a company, when a company is using a standard costing, that means they are using a single cost, a standard cost, a permanent cost for costing its products, its end products. So that is called standard costing. It is expecting that the standard amount of overheads to be incurred in a given period. That means this is a predetermined cost. That means they have already calculated the cost. That is called a standard cost per unit. So in a given period, they are using a standard amount in order to derive the cost of a product. So before the actual incurs, they use this standard cost in order to calculate their costing requirements. All right, so we will look about this OAR, overhead absorption rates and cost in a separate video. So now we are going to look at how the over or under absorption occurs. So when a company is using a standard costing, it expects that a standard amount of overheads to be incurred in a given period of time or in an accounting period. These standard costs would be included to the end product. So end product in the sense it can be a cost object, it is any product that is ready for sale, right? So or it is any product that is that has been completed in the production process. That is mean the product that you can use for your requirements. So that is called end product, right? Right. Then these standard costs are included in the end product's cost. All right. But if you look at the actual overhead incurred, so standard is something that you already calculated. It's an assumption, or it is a predetermined cost. But what about the actual? The actual will come at the year end or after the year end. So now whatever you calculated before will differ from the actual, right? So for example, you calculated as $100,000 before, but now your cost is $124,000. There can be many reasons for this change. It can be an economical reason, maybe an inflation, right? Maybe a supply chain, maybe any other carriage cost. So because of these reasons, additional carriage cost. So because of these reasons in the increase of the cost, your actual is now going to be changed. So how you are going to calculate that, right? Definitely your whatever you calculated before as a standard cost is going to differ from the cost that is incurred actually. So here you can see up and down between your standard cost and your actual cost. So this up and down is called under or over absorption. So you have to adjust for this under or over absorption in the profit statement when you are making under marginal costing, right? So you can look how the marginal costing and absorption costing profit statement is done in the videos that I will be giving in the description. Alright, now first of all let's see what is an under absorption and what is an over absorption. How do you recognize it? Under absorption means overhead that you have absorbed using your standard costing. That means before the actual cost incurred, you are absorbing, you are calculating, you are absorbing the cost to your end product. That will be more. Whatever you absorb is more than the actual cost. So let me tell you, whatever you absorbed is 150,000, but the actual cost is 100,000. So now whatever you absorbed is more, what the actual cost is less. So the 50,000 difference is there. So that means you have absorbed over. So it's more. You have absorbed more. Then under absorption means whatever the overheads that you have absorbed is less than the actual cost, which means you absorbed 100,000, but the actual cost is 120,000. So actual cost is more now. Whatever you absorbed is less. So what you have to do? You have to add some more cost. You have to adjust it so that you can see that you have absorbed 20,000 less. Right? So this is called under. Less mean under absorption. Alright. How to calculate it? So there are 3 steps to calculate under or over absorption. First of all, you need to calculate OAR, that is called overhead absorption rate. Right? So that is very simple to calculate OAR. So when you are taking the calculation part of the OAR, you take the budgeted fixed overheads and you divide it by budgeted activity level. Step 2, you have to calculate overhead absorbed. So there you go. Right, overhead absorbed is OAR into actual activity level. The activity level can be units, machine hours, labor hours, any activity level. So what about this OAR? This is the OAR we calculated here. So this is the reason why we calculate OAR here. Right? So step 3, after calculating the overhead absorbed, the step 3 is check whether under or over absorbed. So basically overhead absorption, right? When you want to check whether it's under or over absorbed, you have to take how much overhead you have absorbed and less actual fixed overhead incurred. Right? So here you have to apply this rule, that is here. Overhead absorbed is more than the actual cost. So overhead absorbed is more. So for example, let's say this is this is 100,000. Overhead absorbed is 100,000. And actual fixed overhead is 90,000. So that means absorbed is more. So it's an over absorption. Now in other words, overhead absorbed is less. It is 100,000. Actual fixed overhead is, you can see here, 150,000, which means this is under absorption. Hope you have understood this. Let's go to an example and do. So example 1, you can see they have given you the budgeted fixed overheads $120,000, budgeted labor hours $30,000, actual labor hours worked is 31,000 hours, and actual fixed overhead incurred is $125,000. So how can you start? Start by using the step 1. Step 1, what is the step 1? You have to calculate the OAR, which is budgeted fixed overheads divided by budgeted. Here the activity level here is labor hours. So this is activity. So you can say budgeted activity level. Right. So now our budgeted fixed overheads is here. Budgeted fixed overheads $120,000 divided by budgeted activity level, which is here 30,000 hours. 30,000 hours. which we can say it's a simple math. So $4 per hour, right? You can calculate it this way. Then you go for the step 2, which is you have to calculate the overhead. I put OH for overhead absorbed. So in this case, what you can do, overhead absorbed is equal to, we know that is OAR into actual activity level. So that is what we are mentioned here, OAR into actual activity level. So we know that the OAR that we calculated is $4 per hour into the actual activity level is here, actual labor hours, that is 31,000 hours. So the answer will be $124,000. So this is the overhead that we have absorbed. So let's go to the step 3. Step 3 is calculate whether it's over or under absorbed. Calculate. So here, what is the equation that we use? That is overhead absorbed minus actual overhead incurred. So how much is the overhead absorbed? Overhead absorbed is here. That is $124,000 minus actual overhead. Actual fixed overhead incurred is $125,000. So 100 minus $125,000. Now you can see, as per our rule, overhead absorbed is now less and overhead incurred is more. So according to our rule, overhead absorption is less, right, than actual cost. So here overhead absorbed is less mean that is under absorption. So overhead absorption is less mean, that is called under absorption. So that we can say this as $1,000 under absorbed. So this is the final answer. So this is how we have to tackle this kind of question. Thank you very much for looking at watching this video. So if you have any questions or any other clarifications required, you can comment and you can share, you can subscribe my channel. So it will motivate me for posting more videos in different areas of accounting and finance. Thank you very much.